So in this session, I'm going to cover, my name is, first of all, my name is Anurag Mishra. I'm here with my colleague Suresha. So in this session, we are going to deep dive into the capabilities of multimodal LLM and some of the interesting use cases of it. So before I jump to the my session, just have one question. How many of you have heard of Gemini Pro or GPT-4 Vision? I think a lot of us have heard. So how many have actually started working on it and actually starting using on some applications? Okay, we have few hands in the back. Thanks, guys. So yeah, so in this session, we are going to deep dive into the capabilities of multimodal LLM. So we start with what is multimodal LLM and their capabilities. We see some of the challenges that we have in the unimodal LLMs. Then we try to gauge the market landscape around these multimodal LLMs, and then my colleague Suresha will take over on some of the industry applications that we have been seeing and exploring in the different domains, and we will give an overview of some of cool use cases that we have implemented. So, how many of you knows that larger models like LLMs, how many number of tokens they have been trained on? Any idea? Any rough estimation will do? Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the answer. So despite the massive amount of input data that these models have been trained on, they still lack the ability to grasp nuanced relationship that exists in the real world. As a human, we understand and interpret on the things for what we see, what we feel, and what we hear. Now, imagine the potential that if LLM could do the same. They can interpret and analyze the data from different modalities as we have, or we can. This is where the concept of multimodal LLMs comes into picture. These models are deep neural network that aim to process the multimodal data and find relationship between them. By combining different type of inputs, these models can comprehend data in general and generate a much better contextual result. So in this case here, if you see, I think many of us has already seen in some demos of, if anyone have seen the demo of GPT-4 Vision or Gemini Pro. So we are asking question and we are saying describe this image. We are passing text along with our image in there, and it's giving and generating us a response. And this is what basically we can do. We can actually ingest different modalities, in this case here, images as a text and text. Now understand, we see as these models are inherently blind to visual data. So we have this existing model like GPT, ChatGPT. So earlier all these unimodal are inherently blind to the visual data. So we can not actually ingest all these images to it. As these models are not actually designed to process different modalities, it is difficult to integrate it with the application which is required to process information from different types of information, like images we need to process text, or we may have to process video or audio in it. So it is actually difficult to integrate with such application. Now, in the third aspect, we see all these traditional models are very limited to their ability to interact with the real world. So they lack the ability to process visual and audio data. So multimodal can bridge this gap and providing more interactive and immersive experience. Now this slide gives the high level of market landscape of multimodal LLM which are available. Though this list may not be complete, there may be other multimodal LLM which is out there, but this comprises of the LLM model that we have experimented on. So we have the proprietary model like Gemini Pro, GPT-4 Vision. Though there is no publicly information about the parameters of Gemini Pro, but GPT-4 Vision is speculated to trained on have a 1.7 trillion parameter. And in the open source side, we have Lava and Maclo LLMs, which have the backbone as a Llama and Vicuna. So in terms of performance, as per our experimentation, we have noticed that proprietary models like Gemini Pro and GPT-4 Vision has been performing way better than on this open source model right now. And the open source model still lacks in providing, doing much complex tasks with images. But the downstream tasks like simple image captioning or image classification, this open source model Lava perform also gives a better performance without any further fine tuning. Now I will hand over to my colleague Suresha, and he will walk over some of the interesting use cases that we have been exploring. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Anurag. So before we discuss about the use case and industrial application, I would like to hear from all of you. How many of you already implemented multimodal LLM capabilities? Okay, there are few hands. Thank you. And these are some of the use cases which we come across while going through several research papers and industry applications and articles. And to begin with, we have regulatory risk and compliance, healthcare and life sciences, and consumer product. So here, think of a scenario where we have an application which we need to do functional testing. As a testing professional, we need to write use case scenarios and develop testing strategy to test and validate the functional application. And here, generally we spend a lot of man hours and effort to understand what will be the business rules to meet all the functionality of the application. Instead of that, we can utilize the multimodal capability and the industry application. And here we can we have set of images coming from all the functional application, and we have set of business rules which are defined as a guideline for the functional testing. And these functional testing guidelines will be also an input along with the images. So this information we will pass on to the multimodal to process, and we will get the report. Maybe like it is in the form of font, what will be the font size, what will the height of the text, and how the logo and buttons are placed, and what will be the spacing around the button and the logos. All these can be tested and validated with the help of multimodal capabilities. And we will get the recommendation and the suggestion coming from the multimodal, and these use cases will be helpful to reduce time and also to improve the efficiency within the development life cycle. So how many of you already worked on healthcare domain? So how difficult is to process the data related to healthcare? Anyone like to share? Okay. So in healthcare, we will always have the data coming from different sources. It can be the reports, it can be the handwritten text, it can be the medical images, scans, and the testing, blood reports, diagnosis report, understanding the patient information, historical data. All this collectively, it is very difficult to process. And if in the conventional generative AI, we will miss a lot of information. If it is a handwritten text, we need to go with OCR. If it is a medical images, then we need to rely on the clinician and the expert, healthcare expert, to get their opinion. Here, with the help of multimodal capability, we can develop a solution which will understand the images, which will understand the patient, and also understand the process flow of the hospital and life cycle, and it will develop a solution to get the recommendation prior to the admission to the hospital and post-discharge. What will be the post-discharge care, how the medical summary should look like, what will be the medication he need to follow. All this can be done in the healthcare and life sciences. Coming to consumer product. So we generally buy a lot of products every day. We use different consumer products. So how it will be if we use the multimodal capability and solutions to understand which consumer product is better for our consumption. And when we give the input of a product, and also prompt how the product should be useful for our consumption. So it will able to, with the right prompt, it will multimodal will help us to understand how the different products available in the market and what will be the recommendation and how it will be helpful for our consumption. So these kind of solutions also possible with the help of multimodal capability. Here coming to the knowledge management, we have think of a scenario, we have several documents which we need to understand, and we need to go through several training materials and curate the data and list all the information, important information coming from the documents, different type of unstructured data. And in this particular type of solution, we can develop the intelligent search which will collate the information based on the query which the user will ask, and it will give us the summary of the important information based on the queries. And we can also develop training materials and learning materials and curate the content. It can be in the form of audio, video, text, and different combinations. And coming to the HR policy, here we can develop employee training which can be interactive and help employees to understand the policies better, and also help to communicate the policies in a better way, and which can be in the form of videos, audios, text, or in different formats and different combinations of data. We can also develop candidate assessment solution where the multimodal will understand the facial recognition and behavior of the candidate and develop solution to analyze how the candidate is suitable for the organization based on the job description, based on his past experience, skills. And coming to wealth and asset management, here generally we will have a lot of documents to refer. Suppose if I am an investor, I need to refer a lot of financial related documents, PDFs, videos, and audio from different stock owners and company representatives. So here, by understanding the feel of the documents which is available before investment, so this is where our solution will help us to understand what kind of investment is better and how the multimodal capabilities will help us to understand which is the right investment opportunity for the investor. So this is the comparison of a RAG, retrieval augmented generation, where we are comparing with the traditional RAG approach, where we will pass the textual information and we will analyze the information and use the output, which is again in the textual format. But during this process, if the document is having audio, video, or images, then we will lose lot of information during the process of developing the output from RAG approach. So this is where our multimodal RAG will come into picture. So this is illustrative architecture where we have data ingestion which is coming as input. Here again it is an unstructured data. It can be images, text, PDFs, Word documents, videos and audio. And here document is processed, and there are several enhancements which is already integrated as part of multimodal capability. One of them is OCR and computer vision, which we can enhance, and during this process of document pre-processing, it will understand the image and also understand the text and the summary, which will help us to split the data, and it will store the embeddings in the vector database. Here, it will understand the context based on the prompts, and with the help of LLM APIs, we can process the image based on the user input. It can be in the form of images, PDFs, or any unstructured data. Will understand and give the context based on the prompts which we write. And As an output, it will also give the textual response and display image and give us the recommendation and the confidence score, how the image should look like and what will be the confidence score, what are the metrics. Again, this is where we can define based on our requirement. Thank you, everyone.